Hey, mi gente. Bienvenidos to episode 11 of This Latina Travels. As we prepare to bring in this new year, I want to end this year with an episode that I believe many will be able to relate to. And not necessarily because of the country that I'll be talking about, but more so because of the meaning behind this trip. In this episode, I will be talking about the first trip that I was able to take my family on. The first trip that I could financially afford. The first trip I was able to use points to get us a hotel room and use my diamond status for all the perks. The first trip that didn't consist of traveling to visit family, but to travel to a new destination. So yeah, this episode has a lot of meaning behind it. So if you hear a little crack in my voice or a pause, I'm okay. But I can't help and get a tad bit emotional at the thought that our parents traveled for necessity, and now we are out here traveling for joy. And some of us have the honor to bring our family along for the ride. And whether you're able to take your family on a trip or not, remember, sis, that it doesn't happen overnight. And no matter what situation you're in, you are doing your best. Just remember, we are living our ancestors' wildest dreams. And with that, let me tell you where I took my family in December of 2016. We took a long, but oh so long road trip to Canada. Let me tell you why this road trip felt like forever. We started this journey into Canada from Northern Virginia. According to Google Maps, it's about a 7.5 to 8 hour car ride. I am pretty sure that it was longer than 8 hours because not only did we stop a handful of times, but we definitely hit the holiday traffic. Once we got to the Canada border, all I remember is handing my mother all our passports and her handing them to the Border Patrol agent. They just asked us where we were staying and for how long, and that was it. Crazy how much power these blue books have. Anyways, that's a whole topic for a whole other episode. Let me focus on this trip. This was our first time in Canada for all of us. It was also during the week of Christmas, so it was pretty cold in the cities of Ontario and Toronto. Ontario is famous for Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, so obviously we wanted to stay somewhere close to the falls and really experience it all. I will say my highlight of this trip was staying at the Embassy Suites by Hilton, not only because our room view was spectacular, but everything was so convenient. Getting breakfast, visiting the falls, the transportation. But my favorite part was looking at the glass window and all you see is Niagara Falls. They even had fireworks one evening. It was magical. We arrived early on our first day and all we wanted to do was check in and sleep a little from the long road trip we had. Because I'm a Diamond Hilton member, I was able to check in early at no additional cost. Usually check into hotels are around 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. I believe that day we got in there around 10 a.m. Since our room was available, one of the perks of having Diamond/Gold member status is checking in early. #forever grateful. Now, how did I get this status? Well, first, anyone can sign up for any of these big hotel corporation loyalty programs. It's absolutely free. Once you sign up and stay at their hotels, you earn points. That year, I had just started my first public health job and traveled at least 3 times, so I had accumulated many points, and because of the number of nights I had stayed, I earned diamond status. Some of these hotels have credit cards as well. Now, I am not an expert on points and or travel credit cards, but I do know some amazing people who have platforms and or podcasts that talk about this. They are 1, Miguel from Travel Surgeon, 2, Lori and Danny from Latinos with Passports, and 3, Julia from GeoBreeze Travel. Don't worry, I'll link all of them in my show notes. Let them know Bianca sent you. The topic of credit cards can be daunting, but trust me, when you learn the game, you can really benefit. Okay, now let me tell you about our experience at Niagara Falls. I am pretty sure we purchased the Niagara Falls Wonder Pass. You can totally purchase this online or even wait till you check in at the hotel. This pass consists of the journey behind the falls, daytime admission to the Niagara Falls Power Station, and the Butterfly Conservatory. Additionally, it provides 2 consecutive days aboard the WeGo bus, W-E-G-O, which is the transportation bus that literally picks you up from the hotel and takes you to all these places. Very convenient. One thing I'll never forget was how cold it was. If I ever go back to Niagara Falls, or Canada at that, I will not be going in the winter. Going through the Niagara Falls tunnel was brutal. It was wet, cold, and sticky. I'm selling it beautifully, right? But honestly, it was super dope experience, and to share with my family was a bigger bonus. Another part we did enjoy a lot was the Butterfly Conservatory. We have a lot more pictures from that part because it was indoors. Definitely worth checking out. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the trip, Toronto. Let me tell you, my memory from 2016 might be fading, but I just don't remember the drive being 8 hours long from Ontario to Toronto. Either way, my mom definitely drove the whole way because if you have a Latina mom like mine, you know no one can touch her car. Toronto is very city-like. I grew up near Washington, D.C., so it gave me the city vibes. Because we went during the holidays and this was our, quote, first trip as a family, here are some things I wish I would have done prior. 1. Do your research on the hours of operation of the sites you want to visit prior to arriving, especially if it is during holidays. Many times, hours are different during national holidays, and remember, every country has its own holidays. 2. Get your tickets online prior to arriving, especially if you're going in a group. We were so bummed because we weren't able to get tickets to go into the CN Tower, so we just took an amazing selfie. That's one of the pictures on this podcast cover. Basically, prior planning prevents poor performance. This is a quote that I live by. Not saying that you can't be spontaneous when you travel, but just do some research prior and make sure you can get tickets to everything you want to go to. Regardless, we made the best of it. Our hotel was another Hilton, right in the city. Just like any big city, the food options were endless. Before I end this episode, I just want to take the time to thank you for the consistent support. Whether this is your first episode or you've been a listener since episode 0, your support means so much to me. I strongly believe that TLT will go global. I see my merch being rocked all over the world by every nationality. I am so excited about this journey, and I hope you can continue to rock with me. A couple of things to look out for. My website is almost done. Yay! I'm currently working on the final touches with my website designer. Shout out to Daphne from Live, Think, Be Fierce. She has been amazing to work with, and I'm so grateful. When my website is fully launched, I will be launching my email listserv, so be on the lookout for that. Merch is coming, I promise. I am figuring out a couple of things before I really get the ball rolling with merch. It's a lot of moving parts. You'd be surprised. And finally, I am going on my dream trip next month to Egypt. So make sure you are following me on all my social media platforms because you already know I will be taking you with me. And with that, I leave you. Until next time, mi gente. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts or Spotify, don't forget to leave me a 5-star rating. And most importantly, write me a review. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with a friend or two. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions via email at thisLatinaTravels@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at thisLatinaTravels. I hope you're ready for this journey because I sure can't wait to tell you more about why this Latina travels.